I love wandering around boot sales. You never know what you're going to find, and I like looking for unusual things. I tend to look under tables. People chuck under tables what they think is of no value, and often they haven't got a clue what they're trying to sell. Many occasions I've picked up something and I've recognised what it is, and I've said, oh, that's such and such a thing, it does such and such. And you can tell by the expressions on their faces that they couldn't give a toss. Who is this old fart, you know? All they want is your money. And I find that very sad, you know, no inquiring minds at all. And here's an example. Guy had boxes and boxes of these. Well, they're a little form of escapement. They're commercially made. And I thought they were rather nice. So I says, what are they out of? Dunno. Oh, how much are they? 50p each, 3 for £1. I said, I'll have half a dozen. And they're quite nice because, I don't know if my camera's going to show this. Let's do that way round. It might do. Let's have a try. So I can get right in there. Yes, I think I can. The piece at the bottom is a rack, and it goes the full length, look, all the way up, a rack. And there in the bottom, can I show it with this, is the pinion. So as that rack comes down, or force is applied, it operates a escapement mechanism. Little balance wheel here, look. I'm applying force between my fingers. So in other words, a small weight would be on this point. So it's an escapement, a simple little escapement. And I thought that's rather nice, less than 50p. And it occurred to me, well, what can I do with it? I don't know what they're used for. Someone might be able to tell me. Anyway, I thought that was rather nice. And I thought, well, a novelty feature, I was interested in clocks at one time. And I thought, well, if a weight is hung on here, we would have the basis for a gravity clock. The weight, trying to pull the rack down, operates the escapement, so that the weight would fall at a uniform rate. And it wouldn't be too difficult to have a pointer attached to the weight on a scale of ours. So we have a linear gravity clock. Anyway, 50p. Can you think of another use? Okay, well, still on the subject of boot sales, guy was selling this. It's fax paper, thermal fax paper. I don't think people use quite so much of this nowadays because faxes are, unless you're a big business, there's other means of communication perhaps better nowadays, so I suppose the demands for this stuff has dropped. Anyway, the guy had boxes of this. I suppose he cleared out a factory or seen it thrown out or something. Anyway, he was selling it for kids to draw on at 20p a roll. And I thought, that's ridiculous. That is absolutely... Anyway, I had boxes and boxes of this, and so I bought a few rolls. And it's another case of perhaps, you know, they don't see the wood for the trees. To buy thermal paper for other pieces of equipment can be megabucks. For instance, you can get thermal paper, albeit with graticules on antique barograph machines. You can get thermal paper on some types of printers. You can get thermal paper on the old school echo sounders, step sounders and what have you. And if you go on eBay and try and find out how much they want for this paper, they're selling it by the foot. Crazy prices. Well, this works fine. Works absolutely fine. You might have to cut it to fit, but that in your echo sounder is going to last for years. So I'm quite surprised that people sort of don't look beyond. They don't see the wood for the trees, so to speak. You can experiment at this price. You can play with the stuff. You can get some, if you like playing with microwave ovens, for instance, slightly dampen a sheet of this, like between a couple of sheets of flat glass, and put it in the microwave on a low setting just for a minute, without the turntable going around. Take the turntable plate off, and you'll see the hot spots and cold spots in the, and you'll find out why they use a turntable. If you've got a printed circuit and you've got some components and you've got thermal runaway, lay a sheet of this over the top. You'll soon pinpoint where the hot spots are. Perhaps you can think of other uses. I'm forever buying rubbish like this. Right, well, before the two men in white coats come and take me away, let's get on to something a bit more sensible. This diesel engine starter, Zunderfix, I think is how you pronounce it. I've got a single cylinder Saab diesel on my boat, and it's an absolute little cracker. But in the winter time it's a big to start. But one of these does it every time. And what they are, they're like little cigarettes. Okay, they're the smell of saltpeter. It's basically what they are. And it's a little thing like that with a red end. The red end's gone a bit of a funny colour, but they all work perfectly. And I've got a plug in the side of the engine like that, which screws into the combustion chamber, and that's just pushed into there. And then that is screwed into the combustion chamber, and the first crank of the handle, bang, 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 and away it goes. Brilliant. But I can't find a supplier of these, and when they've gone, they're gone, although it'll last me a season at least, look. But that's all I've got. And despite my efforts, I can't find a supplier. So perhaps I don't know, perhaps not looking in the right place. But I have found these on eBay. And I don't know what planet some of these people are on, but I've seen rusty old tins of these with perhaps half a dozen, maybe a dozen on there. And they want something approaching about £1 a piece. They're joking, absolutely joking. Some of these guys, well, they're just chances, aren't they? They actually ask more for things second-hand and old than you can buy new, I'm sure. But anyway, I will find out if they are cheap. I'll get some. If not, I'll make my own. Can't be difficult. The red end obviously is the volatile end that obviously ignites upon compression. And it is, I'm guessing, saltpeter or the medium in between that glows just long enough for the engine to build up quite a few revs and the engine to come up to temperature. Well, several people have done mods to their engine. I mean, that's a spare plug that goes in the side. Some people have turned those into glow plugs, other types of glow plugs that connect to a battery and so forth. But that defeats the object, because if you've got plenty of power in your battery, you can crank it over with the electric motor. It'll start after a while then, but if you've got a flat battery, that isn't going to help you. So I've decided I'm sure I can make my own. And even if I can't do the self-ignite business, I'm sure some sort of medium with some slow burning, something like saltpeter. Even if you lit the thing first, then screwed this into the side of the engine, I'll lay you 10 to 1 that would work perfectly okay. So, any thoughts on those, guys? One or two of you are interested in pyrotechnics. So, any thoughts without blowing my head off? Okay, that'll do it for this one. Thanks for watching.